Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be going over exactly how to start a nutrition plan for basketball. What's up everyone? So welcome back to another video here on the channel. My name is Tommy Clark. I'm a certified nutrition coach, and as I said in the intro, today we're going to be discussing how to start a nutrition plan for basketball. And let's be honest, there's no shortage of information out there on the internet, on social media, on YouTube. If you look on Google, there's tons and tons of information when it comes to nutrition and nutrition for athletic performance. Guys, screw up is actually not being able to take all that information and put it together in a cohesive nutrition plan that's actually going to allow them to stick to that plan and get results from it. So what I want to do in this video is lay out a very simple format for how you can progress from not doing anything with your nutrition to ultimately tracking your macros in a very simple, not super complicated, and straightforward way that's actually going to keep things simple for you and allow you to enjoy this process and get results right away and teach you how to create results forever, essentially. And then as always, if you enjoy the video, definitely be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below if you're new around here for new videos every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with nutrition tips just like this to help you perform on the basketball court at the highest level possible. So the easiest way to look at this sort of progression, so let's say you're starting from ground zero, you've never tracked any calories, you've never really done anything with your nutrition, much less track your macros. So where do you even start? Do you jump right into tracking macros? No, not really. Like, you shouldn't do that in most cases, because most of the time that's going to overwhelm you and that's going to leave you feeling confused, frustrated, and wondering why this doesn't work for you, and you're going to just banish nutrition and end up right back where you were before. So instead, we want to look at this as a progression. A good way to think about this is the analogy of climbing Mount Everest. Tracking macros is tracking your calories, proteins, carbs, and fats, all that stuff that in an ideal world you would. That's the summit of Mount Everest. Would it be cool to get there at some point? Absolutely. But are you going to get there and stay there for the rest of your life? Probably not. There's a way to progress up to that, and there's also a way after you get there to progress back down, because the vast majority of people, the vast majority of athletes and basketball players, if they're tracking their macros during their season and really fueling for performance and all that great stuff, you're probably not going to want to stay there forever. So how do you progress up to there in a simple and easy to understand way? And also, once you're up there and once you've achieved your goal, how do you progress back down from that and still eat responsibly and maintain your results that you created without having to put in as much effort to track every single day? The first step to that, and what I would encourage you to do if you're starting from ground zero, is create some sort of meal schedule. Like, don't even worry about what you're eating at those meals. Just get in a consistent routine of eating meals at certain times. What that'll do, it's not really that the specific times are important, it's just the idea of creating some sort of structure, some sort of consistency. What I recommend to the athletes that I work with is 3 to 5 times per day. Pick those as your meal times and stick to those. Again, not because they're magical meal times, but simply because having that schedule in place will create that consistency. And if you were only eating sporadically or 2 times a day, maybe 3 times a day, and you go up to eating 4 times per day consistently, what does that do? It automatically increases your calorie intake and fuels you better to perform in your training without you even really having to think about it. Even if you're eating the same thing in each of those meals, you're not really worrying about that. You still actually increase your calorie intake and put you in a much better position. Once you've got that down, then you can progress up to that next kind of step, that next checkpoint on the mountain, which is still worrying about those meal times, but then looking at what are you using to construct those meals. So you're going to want to get a protein source, a carb source, a color source, and a fat source in each of those meals, a pretty balanced meal. So those same meal times, but now just add an extra layer of detail to it and actually pay attention to what you're having in those meals. And in that case, we're still not tracking calories. We're still not tracking macros, none of that. The app MyFitnessPal hasn't even come into the picture yet. And you're still in a really good position where you're eating high quality foods now, and you're creating results, seeing progress in a very, very easy and simple and straightforward way. Once you get that second step down, then you'll progress to actually tracking your calories. Right now, we're not even going to worry about protein. We're not going to worry about carbs, fats, any of that. I just want you to worry about calories. Calories and energy balance, so calories in versus calories out, is that fundamental principle. It's going to drive most of your progress. Macros are important, but again, it doesn't really mean much if we don't have your total calories in place yet. So jump from that previous step up to now tracking just your calories. Don't even worry about macros. Still eat those same meals, still structure them the same way, but now you're going to track them in an app. And I usually recommend MyFitnessPal to all the athletes I work with. The vast majority of them use that app. They love it. Super simple, easy, and straightforward to use. And it allows us to quantify that data. And there's plenty of YouTube tutorials going over how to use MyFitnessPal. I might make one in the future, but honestly, there's so many other videos out there going over how to use the app. So I'm sure if you just type it into the YouTube search bar, you'll find some stuff. And then I should also mention, if you're trying to figure out how many calories you should eat for your individual body and your individual goals, I've linked some resources in the description down below. And then once you have that consistency with tracking, then you'll progress to that next level of detail, which is calories plus protein. Still not worrying about carbs and fats. There's quite a bit of flexibility when it comes to those two. But for right now, just worrying about calories and protein. Protein tends to be very important, like we talked about in the previous video I did just before this one. It's important for muscle growth, muscle recovery, and a bunch of other physiological functions in your body. So you want to make sure you're getting enough of that in. Like I just said, there tends to be a lot more flexibility when it comes to carb and fat intake. So I recommend prioritizing protein first and getting that dialed in, along with your calorie intake. And then last but not least, once we've progressed all this way, you're gonna make that jump to tracking everything. So tracking your calories, proteins, carbs, and fats. And by now, that transition should happen very smoothly because you've taken this time to set that foundation and do the easy stuff first, and then progressing to more and more complex things. So now even tracking everything doesn't even seem that complex. So that's kind of the thought process behind that. And that whole process of progressing you through those different stages, that's not gonna happen in a week. It's not gonna happen in 2 weeks. It'll take a little bit of time, so just be consistent with it. And don't rush it, because like I said, at each and every one of those phases in your process, you're gonna get new results. You're gonna make progress. So don't feel like you have to jump to tracking everything full blown right away in order to make progress. You'll make progress at each and every one of those stages. So hopefully that makes sense. And then again, if you have any questions about this, if you're trying to figure out how to track and you have any questions, how do I log this food, what I do here, how many calories should I eat, I've linked a bunch of free resources in the description below. So I would definitely check those out. Definitely check out all the other videos on my channel as well. Those will provide you some other context and information that'll be helpful as you start your nutrition journey. And then if there's any way I can help you out personally, just shoot me a DM or drop a comment down below, and I'll be sure to reach out to you and really see how I can help you personally and make sure you're going in the right direction. And then last but not least, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here for new videos just like this every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I appreciate you tuning in. Really appreciate your support. It's been awesome to see the growth, the consistent, steady growth of the channel over the past couple of weeks, and hoping to continue that. So really appreciate you sticking around, and I will see you in the next video.